Hello, welcome to part 2 of solving ModelOff data analysis problem using Access SQL. Next question. How many invoices did salesperson Sally create over the analysis period? Should be pretty simple to answer this question by now. So, we need to know how many invoices. We can use the count keyword from, and actually this question is not as easy as it sounds. While it's not difficult, we still need to use the subquery to answer it. So for our from clause, we need to create another query within the main query. We need to select distinct, which is a unique occurrence of invoice number. As you remember from the data structure, we have a list of invoice numbers for each item sold. So each invoice that has more than one item sold would have multiple records. Instead of counting non-unique records, we actually have to count unique records only for the invoice number. And to help us with that, we can use the distinct keyword. Invoice number from our table where salesperson like Sally. In this case, let's use only one wildcard after Sally. Close the parentheses, and let's run. Getting an error message. Looks like I misspelled the name of our table. So let's rerun. The answer is 650, which corresponds to answer D. Moving on to the next question. During the month of May, which postal code bought the most of item 5 by quantity? We know that in this case, we only need to select one record. So let's change our query. We'll use the top one keyword, postal code from table ModelOff where month's name equals May. Well, if you remember our data structure, unfortunately we don't have a field with the month's name present. We do have a date field, which is a regular date format. So let's reformat that date field in a month format in order to answer this question. So where format date format type of months for lowercase m letters equals May, and item code equals 5. Let's group by our postal code and let's sort or order by sum of quantity in descending order. When we run, the answer is 329, and we should select C as our answer key. Question number 7. During the month of February, how many postal codes bought more than 400 products by quantity? We've already done a similar query. We already selected the count number, so let's solve this problem. Let's do select count all from. In this case, we need to create another subquery, which is a little involved, but not too bad. From select postal code from our table group by month name. Let's introduce two additional functions to format our date field in the month format. Month's name, and we need to specify the month, which is within the date field. So group by month's name, also by postal code. Having, that's a new command keyword that we're using in SQL. Having is the equivalent of where clause for an aggregated function. So having month's name equal February. And sum of quantity greater than 400. The issue with the where clause is we cannot perform any aggregation such as sum within the where clause. That is why we have to use the having clause. And this is the syntax to perform this task. So whenever you're aggregating anything in SQL, you would have to use having instead of where. That's the only difference. And let's sort or order by sum of quantity in descending order. And let's close our subquery. Let's run this query, and the answer that we're getting is 5, which corresponds to answer key C. Moving on to question 8. Over the entire dataset, which 3 items did postcode 3020 spend the greatest dollars on? So since we're asked to select 3 items, we know to use the top keyword, top 3. 3 item code from our table name where postal code equals 3020, group by item code, and let's sort it by sum of cost. So we would have to calculate the cost, of course, which is cost per unit times quantity. And descending order. Let's run this. So we're getting item codes 9, 6, and 46, and the answer is A. For question number 9, we're asked the following. What is the rank of salespersons from highest to lowest based on the number of invoices written during the month of May? Let's try to answer this question. We need to select the salesperson from, and instead of our table, we need to do yet another subquery from select distinct. Remember that distinct helps us select unique occurrence of a field, in this case invoice number. To select a salesperson from table ModelOff where format date as a month format equals May. Let's close our subquery and specify our group by clause by salesperson order by count in descending order. Let's run. So the exact order from highest to lowest based on the number of invoices, unique invoices, sold during the month of May is the following: Kelly, Amy, Wendell, Sally, Penny. And the answer is C. Question number 10. What was the invoice number of the largest invoice by revenue that the salesperson Wendell wrote during the analysis period? Let's change our code. So since we're asked to identify only one record, let's use top one, invoice number from our table where salesperson is like Wendell, wildcard, group by invoice number, and order by sum of sales, or sales price per unit times quantity, in descending order. Let's run. The answer is 143, or A. Stay tuned for our upcoming videos and keep in touch on social media.